vị, vừa rồi chúng ta đã lắng nghe tất cả những quý đại diện mang đến những chia sẻ, những góc nhìn toàn diện và cũng như những nội dung mà tất cả chúng ta sẽ cùng chia sẻ trong sự kiện lần này. Và tiếp nối, thưa quý vị, chúng tôi mang đến nhiều hơn nữa với một khía cạnh để tất cả quý vị có thể lắng nghe những trao đổi đến từ tất cả những chuyên gia, những đại diện có mặt hôm nay. So the next would be a bigger sharing, not just only one member or experts. We also invite all of you to come to the next part. It's gonna be also the sharing with a group of experts right here. Và thưa quý vị, nội dung tiếp theo rất đặc biệt. Vì sao mà ngày hôm nay chúng tôi mang đến nội dung này? Có phải tất cả chúng ta đang rất quan tâm đến việc là kết nối tầm nhìn toàn cầu và cũng như là mang đến những chiến lược giúp cho doanh nghiệp Việt hiểu rõ những tác động của blockchain đến kinh doanh và đầu tư tại Việt Nam cũng như toàn cầu, đúng không ạ? Và đây chắc hẳn là một trong những nội dung có thể nói là khá thú vị, mang đến những góc nhìn toàn diện nhất. So the next part is gonna be a very interesting sharing. This panel reaches global insights with Vietnamese enterprise strategy and also essentials for understanding how blockchain is transforming business and investment in Vietnam and beyond. So this moment we'd like to invite to the stage our experts and onshore esteemed guests. Và tiếp theo chúng tôi xin được mời lên quý chuyên gia xuất hiện trên sân khấu của chúng ta. Hãy cùng dành những tràng pháo tay để cùng chào đón đại diện Mr. John Yan, CEO của Tram Corporation. Xin được chào đón Mr. Quang Phạm, CEO and Executive IC ABB Private Equity Fund. And we would like to invite to the stage Mr. Nicholas Sitong, Singapore Country Lead Base. Và ở phần này, chào đón quay trở lại người sẽ cùng chúng ta mang đến những nội dung một cách sâu sắc nhất. Xin được chào đón sự quay trở lại của bà Miss Quyên Yan, also the founder of ETF Vietnam, will be our moderator. Xin được mời bà Quyên Yan cùng trở lại sân khấu. Bà sẽ là người điều phối với phiên chia sẻ tiếp theo lần này. Còn bây giờ hãy cùng chúng tôi một lần nữa chào đón tất cả những chuyên gia và đại diện trên sân khấu. And once again, welcome our experts on the stage. Và thưa quý vị, xin được mời bà Quyên Yan ạ. Mời các quý vị cùng lắng nghe những chia sẻ.
Vâng, xin cảm ơn tất cả các quý vị. Và để tiếp theo chương trình là chúng tôi xin được tiếp theo đến cái panel. Và xin phép là panel này có diễn giả người nước ngoài nên là xin phép được dùng tiếng Anh được không ạ? Và cho tất cả các quý vị ngồi ở dưới, nên quý vị cần dịch thì các quý vị có thể dùng headset phone để nghe. We will use English because, yeah, you foreigner friends, so it's easier, I think. So, hi everyone again. Welcome to the panel, Blockchain Innovation in Enterprises, Global and Vietnam Lesson Learned. So, I'm Quyên Giang, founder of ETH Vietnam, and I'm very honored to moderate this panel today, together with our outstanding expert. So, I would like to welcome John Zhang, CEO from GEM Corporation, Quang Phạm, CEO and Executive Investment Committee from ABB Private Equity Fund, and also welcome Nicholas Sitong, Singapore Country Lead from BASE. Would like to have like a minute for each of you to do the introduction. What is you doing? What's your focus? Thank you.
So, hi everyone, good morning, and good morning our honor guests from government and our honor guests to be here, and good morning everyone. So, it's my honor to be here to share with you these sections together with my good friends and good partners from Ethereum, BASE, and also the private equity fund investment from Vietnam. So, I'm John, and my passion and my true innovation is about innovation and technology. So, I start my career path with founding one service apartment digital transformation in Vietnam, and follow I have the some investment role from investment director in CJ Group and Lotte Group from Columbia Grad from Korean, And follow up by that, I have the time to lead the fund from Capricorn Vision in Vietnam and Southeast Asia that we used to invest in technology and innovation. And we help to build some unicorn in the world, such as Grab from Singapore, or such as we invest in Paun, Indonesia, or Lies in Korea. So for us, right now, for me, blockchain is not only the tool or the infrastructure. Blockchain, I think, is the game changer and also the thing that can apply to everyone's life right now. So blockchain can help us to have decentralized, also to reduce the cost, and especially can create the unlock, the transparency for everything and for everybody's for the transactions. So blockchain right now, I think is create the wonderful life in the near future for all of us. And I'm really glad to be here to talk about that together with my honored guests today. Thank you.
Thank you, John. A lot of big portfolio, and congratulations for all that milestone. Yeah. And next, Mr. Quang Pham.
Good morning. So I've been doing investment in the past 20 years across Southeast Asia, China, and US. I've been back, fully focused on Vietnam in the past 2 years. Private equity is something very, traditional. Like we look at companies, we evaluate the companies based on, profit and, growth and stuff like that. But, blockchain is coming, crypto assets is coming, and they are the one that, are changing the world. And, in the financial markets, in the financial, aspects, it is having a lot of things to do. And, I think that, in the investment world, we are looking at crypto assets and blockchain technologies in general as a new thing that every single of us have to go back to schools and study it again. And, to make sure that, we can apply that in the real world someday, very soon. And I'm happy to share with you my view, my insights, that I have adopted from, international markets.
That's amazing. So we also have 2 panelists, very successful entrepreneur also in the investment world. And also we have Nick from, Web3 building world, right? So can you introduce yourself also?
Yeah, I think you can tell that I'm Web3 from the way I'm dressed. So I'm Nick, Singapore country lead for Base. So Base is Coinbase's blockchain, and it's currently the #1 L2 on EVM. And I think Base and Coinbase are one of those companies that together with our friends over at EF have been really championing bringing the world on chain. And bringing blockchain adoption to the world. And I think Coinbase has built a very, very trusted brand in the space. And just by virtue of Coinbase having a license in Singapore and also being a crypto hub, we also engage very frequently with regulators like MAS, as well as leading financial institutions in the region. So yeah, happy to share a bit about what we're doing in the panel. Thank you.
This is exciting. Also, I want to hear a lot from investment perspective, also from IFC, from Web3 global protocol. So let's start the panel. So let's say about Vietnam blockchain policy and on-chain nation vision, right? So Vietnam also want to put the Vietnam become the blockchain hub and AI in the region in the next 10 years. And also, especially the government and also want to focus and push for the adoption of blockchain in many other industries. For example, logistics, agriculture, healthcare, education, even public sector. So how does this align with what enterprises need to scale blockchain solution effectively? So I would like to hear the opinion from our guests. Maybe Joan, you want to start first?
Okay, sure. Thanks for your interesting questions. So for me, I think that my big believer is that technology will change our life and we can help our life to become better. So right now, in my opinions, today I will want to share with you very interesting that Vietnam is regulated for the blockchain right now by the Vietnam National Strategy Blockchain that issued in last year in October in the decision 1236. So for this regulation right now, the development of blockchain in Vietnam will become like officially and also regulated from the government and support from the government. So I think that this is really good for us as the community, as the investment, and the technology as well. And blockchain we can have the arm to become like a leader hub. In one of the leader hub is located in Vietnam right now. So for blockchain national technology, for this strategy can support us to build a lot of things. So by this year, 2025, we can have the arm to start to buy some strong digital foundation together with some big corporation like Ethereum, like Coinbase. Also, we can have the chance to start to set up some research centers together to have the understanding, to have the hackathon, to have some things that help us to develop the technology in Vietnam and have some sandbox to like trial that safety and officially. So for us right now, I think this national Vietnamese blockchain can help us to facilitate that and also can build the community and build the next generation by the workshop, by the training program and everything. So I think this is the time for Vietnam for blockchain and AI right now.
Thank you. Anh Quang, like, do you want to add anything?
This is what I have shared with a lot of business owners. I told them that don't look at blockchain and Web3 as something related to Bitcoin, where you go into an exchange and you trade and you make some quick money. So years ago, Web2 has changed the way people doing business around the world, right? So they moved from paper to Web2. And now Web3 is coming to replace Web2. And the application of Web3 blockchain technologies in general is going into their daily work. Like for example, for a rice exporter, right now they have to sign the contract to sell their rice to somebody in US, and then they get the payment from the customers via the JP Morgan Bank or something like that, and somebody else, some other banks come in to provide them like a letter of credit, stuff like that. Now everything can be replaced by the smart contract, and they can receive the money right away within seconds after they sign the contracts. So Web3 is that, like, is not something that we cannot understand and cannot apply into our real world. It is changing the way traditional businesses is doing, and it helps with the efficiency in managing a company's managing a business. Also, it's a new way of capital raising for the business.
Thank you for sharing all those use cases, because I think that it's super important that for us, for this 2 days, even I know that it's short, but we also can share more and more about use cases of blockchain for different enterprises, different industry, so all of us also can understand and apply later on, and together we can improve the Vietnam economy. So Nick, because you also from Singapore, you working for Base. When you hear about Vietnam direction, want to put Vietnam become the on-chain nation, how do you feel? And how also Base protocol also have any action to focus in Vietnam market?
Yeah, I think good question. I think I'll first start off with saying Vietnam has a lot of talented developers and builders out there, and I feel we need to as Base give the due support to all the builders. And I think maybe just to provide slightly different perspective from the builder side, I think blockchain And the whole concept of decentralization also means like decentralization in terms of value accrual, right? And so when we think of like, hey, Vietnam not only has builders, but also has a lot of creators and KOLs. And these people have been on, social media platforms and been creating content for these platforms, and the value is actually accruing to the platforms like Meta, like X, right? But with decentralized platforms that can, for example, fundraise, right? A lot of the value can now flow back to the creators and not to the big corporations. And I think this is something that the base app that we just released is trying to revamp the whole value creation model and to bring some of the value back to the smaller guys, right? So that's what I see that's quite exciting from the base and from the creator perspective.
Yeah. Thank you. But we talk about the on-chain nation. One question also like to anh Quang Phạm here, because like you also working with many enterprises. The key thing here is like, are those enterprises in Vietnam ready to be on-chain, and also like how is the readiness of those, and also align with the new direction of the government to put Vietnam become on-chain?
From my observation, I don't have the correct, statistic, data to talk about, but the readiness is still very low. Actually, the adoption of AI within the Vietnamese enterprises are happening much faster than being on-chain, and I don't know why. Maybe because the public mindset is still like being on-chain means being a trader for Bitcoin.
So it means that, okay, for now, maybe a lot of people are still a bit skeptical about blockchain, or even like haven't really understand about use case yet, right? So I think that the next thing is like how we also together can help all of the enterprises to, more ready, so that also they can see and understand deeply about the use cases. Hey, we have so many use cases globally already. On Ethereum, on Base, on many other chains, not only those, right? Even in banking or even cross-border payment in logistics. So how we can help them to apply in Vietnam? And I see that like Vietnam was starting to do it, even with for example, the National Data Association. They're also working with many enterprises to helping to apply blockchain in, for example, like traceability in agriculture or even like healthcare product, for example. So more and more use case. But I agree with you that, for the readiness, now is still the low stage. So hopefully like we also can boost for that quickly. So the next question, also I would like to move to about like, the Vietnam enterprises, especially for GEM and also for MDV Capital. So for John, for GEM Corporation, how do you capitalize on Vietnam government lead infrastructure, testbed, and also National Innovation Center to pioneer blockchain offerings?
Yes, interesting question. So for us as an enterprise and corporation, I think that GEM would like to very luckily that we have the support from the government for very strong support from blockchain and also from the International Financial Center. So for us, enterprise, I think that we can apply for some good strategy or good business model that we can focus on, such as we have 3 key models that we would like to share with you today. So the first is that I think after the application from the sandbox something, we can have the chance to, if it's okay, we can have a chance to get into the ETF from Bitcoin or ETF from Ethereum. So this is a very strong and successful model across Europe, across USA, across Dubai as well. So a lot of ETF, Bitcoin or ETF, Ethereum fund is start and successful. For example, for some big name like BlackRock or like some big family office name like MBS Global Investment, they also focus and invest into ETF Bitcoin and ETF Ethereum. So ETF is one of the first modeling that we would like to have the support to do in Vietnam for Sandbox. The secondly is that I think for the digital banking, so digital bank is also very strong and very need to support in Vietnam right now. So digital bank can help us to centralize as a neobank, transfer seamless, and reduce a lot of cost for the banking, the traditional bank. Then last but not least is about that we would like to support to continue to help to build the innovation fund, like such as collaboration with some big corporation like Base, like Ethereum, to build some acceleration program inside the blockchain economy and blockchain community in Vietnam. So this is we support the startup and the ecosystem in Vietnam. Yes.
Thank you. But also want to see that, like, for in terms of funding and investment, that's the key thing. When we have the new regulation from IFC, so how also like we can attract also foreign investment into Vietnam and also can bring like more and more capital to support a corporate here. And for Anh Quang, like because you also working for a big fund here in Vietnam, what do you think about this kind of regulation? How also can catalyst for enterprises in Vietnam to attract more investment?
I think, crypto assets are very new in Vietnam. So we have the digital technology industry law to be, passed, in June, right? So we just have the National Data Association up and running a couple of months ago. We have just launched the NDA chain, National Digital Asset Chain, right? Having 49 validators. Also, just a couple of months ago. So everything is still in the very early stage. I think that we need to have, new policies coming up into the market. We have to have more infrastructure to be ready for everything to pick up, for the enterprise to be ready to use the technologies into their their own business and making good money. I may think that we may need a VND denominated stablecoin. Because lots of the countries in the world, they have been successful in launching it. For example, in Singapore, they have straight X. In Philippines, they have PX X. So, stablecoins plays a very important role in building up the trust, for either the enterprises or the consumers to be part of it. And I also think that we may need to have a link between whatever blockchain exchanges that we are building with the state bank. So we are having the real-time gross settlement system, right? Hosted by the state bank. Right now, what I'm seeing is the disconnection between whatever crypto exchanges that we are setting up with the banking system. That will put a questions for the newcomers, the one that haven't adopted enough understanding about Web3, about blockchain to be part of it. And I think that if we want to really foster the international payments between Vietnam and other countries, and if we really want to promote our IFC in Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi, we have to have the connections between our exchanges with the state banks and between our exchanges with the other exchanges in the world.
I totally with you, Anh Quang. Also, for now, for crypto, actually, I still see the biggest adoption or use case is still stablecoin so far. and also that it really boosts for like cross-border payment and also like open up like so many other opportunity for digital banking. So Base, I know that Base also working with so many different banks in US, globally. What is your opinion about this, and how we also can boost for the international financial center in Vietnam when based here in Vietnam?
Yeah, I think local stablecoins are definitely the way to go. And the way I reason this is, if we really want mass adoption, if your local merchant is not going to accept USD, they definitely wouldn't accept USDC, right? So that's, having like a stable coin version of Vietnamese dong is one step closer to getting that kind of like mass adoption. I think globally there's been so much progress in terms of stablecoin adoption. I mean, the Genius Act in the US, and you also see like big corporations like JP Morgan bringing tokenized deposits onto Base. Early next year, Chase Bank's loyalty points, and that's one of the largest like retail banks in the US. Those loyalty points will be able to be converted to USDC on Base. And so, again, it's the entry point is stable coins, right? So I think stable coins is really like the way to get mass adoption. And I mean, everything, even like Shopify is, accepting USDC. So I definitely think regulatory bodies around the world should definitely try to craft like a good guideline around like stablecoin adoption and stablecoin like governance.
Thank you. So I think that the last question for all the panelists here, we just wrap up this panel because we run out of time. So since like we also are entrepreneurs, we also working for global, protocol and federation here. If we can raise the voice with the IFC, like one action is like kind of must action that IFC need to do to accelerate for all of this adoption for enterprises in Vietnam. Can you name one only? One thing. What is the must?
Okay, so for this question, for my answer for this, for you is that I think for IFC in Vietnam, we would like to have the strongly support from the government. And luckily right now, after resolution 222 is happening, so right now IFC is official and regulated in Ho Chi Minh City and in Da Nang City. So for me, I would like to have like a strong support and strong open freedom, like a sandbox inside the IFC that can help us to have the facilitated all of the investor in the world to come to Vietnam with the control from the government, but with the freedom and supportive from the government. So we can apply the same model and apply with like a DIFC, Dubai International Financial Center, where we can have the freedom from the VARA, like VARA in DIFC. This is Virtual Assets Regulation Authority. And then from this VARA, we can apply the same model that can have the freedom for every investor coming to Vietnam. This is my strong supporting point from Vietnam. Yeah.
Thank you, John. And how about Anh Quang?
I would say get the sandbox ASAP.
We also have like 3 sandbox, 2, right? Da Nang and Ho Chi Minh City. But what needs to be there in the sandbox?
What needs to be there?
Yeah.
I think, like that lots of things have to be there to really attract the international investors, like us. So, like you need to tell very clearly what type of assets are legalized in the IFC, right? Because from the investor point of view, we need to know what we are buying, what we are investing into, and how can we trade. The second one is, the sandbox for the international payment and settlements and stuff like that. Right now, like the SWIFT, obviously is very outdated, right? So it's slow, it requires lots of, parties to be involved in one single simple transaction. So, you know, the IFC can actually help fostering, you know, faster transaction, you know, lower fees, stuff like that. But, you know, like we need sandbox for that. And how can we, you know, move the money in, move the money out without not having, you know, too much paperwork, stuff like
That's
that.
the
So,
key thing.
yeah. So those are the things that, you know, like if we can make it clear, then, you know, I'm sure, you know, lots of the foreign investors, they're willing to, you know, invest through, you know, the IFC.
I totally agree with you. And I just want to add one more, like within the sandbox, not only like to, you know, testing out the different experiment with the, you know, different policy, but also like to attract the investment. But the key thing is we also need the workforce, work labor, not only from Vietnam, but also like from overseas. So I think that even within the sandbox, we even can have the regulation to support, to attract more talents overseas. Even for some simple thing like, hey, we can have the extend visa for, you know, foreigners here. And right now they apply like 3 months, every 3 months, right? Like something like very simple like that to attract more talent for the workforce. And for next, like what is your must for the IFC? You think that like it need to be in the IFC, like to accelerate for all the adoption?
Yeah, so from a Singapore standpoint, I don't dare to tell the IFC what to do, but I can share like what Singapore has been doing, in particular like the MAS. So we actually have done like 2 main initiatives which involve sandboxes, because sandboxes are good because they engage the industry incumbents, right? And on the ground, like what doesn't work. And so the first sandbox is called Project Ubin, and that ran from 2016 to 2020. And the main objective of that was to explore interbank transactions and whether we could use the blockchain to conduct really large-scale interbank cross-border and multi-currency settlements on a large scale. And so that concluded, and that actually laid the foundation for the next sandbox. And that also laid some technical clarity for JP Morgan's like Onyx system, which then rebranded to Kinexis, which they're using to launch like token deposits on Base. So that's the first one. And then the second sandbox was called Project Guardian. So that's from 2022 and it's still running. And that one is focused on tokenizing more assets. So like bonds, funds, and, you know, maybe some RWA. So I think like in addition to sandbox, different stages of sandbox leading up to a more coherent strategy where one sandbox builds on the results of the previous sandbox.
Yeah, thank you. And Guan, do you want to add anything? Okay. So I think that like this, to sum up, we totally agree with the, you know, like regulation and also like IFC strategy that, you know, really put Vietnam become the on-chain nation and also like put Vietnam become, you know, one of the blockchain hub in the region. We also like, totally want to support that vision of the government. And for us, we also want to see like, you know, more and more different regulation also to support enterprises and also builders and also to attract the foreign investment. And we also discussed a bit about like use cases globally, how like successful also can use like stablecoin or even like some experience sandbox global, right? So thank you all the panelists today, and hopefully that also like this, even with a short time, but we can share with you some of the information about this topic. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Mr. John Yang, thank you. Mr. Quang Phạm, thank you. Mr. Nicholas. And also thank you so much to our moderator, Queen Jan. Và một lần nữa hãy cùng chúng tôi dành những tràng pháo tay dành cho các chuyên gia và các diễn giả ngày hôm nay đến từ rất nhiều những công ty có thể nói đã đạt những thành tựu trên thị trường trong và ngoài nước, và đặc biệt là khách mời đến từ Singapore của chúng tôi. Thank you so much, our panelists. Thank you for your sharing such amazing answer, and thank you our great moderator, Miss Queen Jan.